Good morning or good afternoon to everyone. Welcome to today's session on financial analysis. Before we start our class, I would like to first introduce myself. My name is Shairul Canlas, and my topic for today is financial analysis. For the reference, I already included it in our slide. It's from Infinity Ed, Financial Modeling, Financial Analysis Module, and I also included yung ating link para sa ating reference day. Of course, let's begin our discussion no sa pag-analyze kung ano nga ba itong ating meaning ng financial analysis. Financial analysis is the study of a company to determine its financial health and performance. So yung mga analysts, usually kinokalculate nila yung mga ratios from those financial data, no? And then kino-compare nila sa mga ibang company and yung mga company or yung past performance ng ating company. Usually, yung mga companies' financial statements, sila-sila yung mga balance sheet, income statement, yung mga cash flow statement, ayan, kung saan sila yung mga naglalaman nung information ng ating company when it comes to financial analysis. So, dito naman tayo sa uses of financial analysis. Meron tayong internal analysis, tsaka yung investment financial analysis, no? Kung saan dito natin ginagamit talaga yung ating financial analysis. So, yung internal analysis, tinatawag din siyang corporate financial analysis dahil ito nga ay ginagamit lang within the company kung saan nagkakonduct tayo ng internal financial analysis para ma-assess yung ating performance at of course matulungan tayo sa pagkakaroon na nga ng smart decision. And next naman dito sa ating investment financial analysis kung saan ginagamit natin yung financial analysis para matulungan yung mga investors, no? Na mag-decide kung maganda pa talaga or good opportunity ba talagang mag-invest sa ating company. Itong ating financial analysis ay meron siyang two main types, no? Yung una is yung fundamental analysis and next is yung technical analysis. Kung saan sa fundamental analysis, gumagamit tayo ng mga ratio, no? Na nakukuha natin yung mga information mula sa mga financial statements na meron tayo sa company. Halimbawa na lang dyan is yung mga earnings per share na meron tayo or yung kilala natin bilang EPS kung saan doon pinapakita yung value ng ating business, no? And next naman para sa technical analysis, kung saan gumagamit naman tayo ng mga market trends or yung mga publicly available na mga information para ma-assess yung company finances na meron tayo. So, meron tayong iba't ibang technique no, sa pag-analyze ng ating financial analysis or analysis. First, meron tayong vertical analysis kung saan tinatawag din siya bilang common size financial statement. Vertical analysis nga siya, so pataas siya, no? Compare, kung saan kino-compare natin yung performance ng ating company from different sizes, no? During the same period of time. So, same time lang rin siya. Next naman, para sa horizontal analysis or tinatawag din bilang trend analysis. Commonly, tinatawag din siyang base year statement, horizontal analysis, kung saan kino-compare yung performance ng ating company, no, single company, with its past performance. In horizontal analysis, the financial statements uses first year as the base year. While ito naman lastly sa ating ratio analysis, ito ay isang uri ng quantitative method kung saan ginagamitan natin ng mga insight no, sa ating company liquidity. Yung operational efficiency and profitability, no, kung saan pinag-aaralan natin yung ating mga financial statements such as yung mga balance sheet at mga income statement na meron tayo. Ito naman yung example nitong ating ratio analysis, no? Kung saan kino-cover niya yung two basic groups na meron tayo. First is yung ating performance ratio and second is yung ating financial leverage ratio. Kung saan sa performance ratio, meron tayong profitability ratio, gross profit margin, operating profit margin, net profit margin, and sa other side naman, meron tayong efficiency ratio, the tax ratio, total asset turnover, PP&E turnover, working capital efficiency, etc. And para naman sa ating financial leverage ratio, meron tayong liquidity ratio, current ratio, quick ratio or acid test ratio, and yung ating solvency or yung mga iba pang information. So, ito yung ating i-discuss today, no? Kung paano ma-compute itong mga, or kung ano yung mga formula na gagamitin natin para makuha natin yung mga numbers para dito. Ayan, so mag-start tayo sa ating profitability ratio kung saan yung gross profit margin natin nagsasabi siya na kung saan patungo yung ating business, no? Kung saan patungo after nating mabayaran lahat ng mga direct cost na meron tayo. Kung saan yung mga direct cost, sila yung mga kasama na yung labor, yung materials, and other direct production costs. Para sa ating formula, gross profit margin is equals to net sales or minus COGS, cost of goods sold, divided by net sales. So next naman dito sa ating operating profit margin, kung saan yung operating profit natin is yung difference between the revenue of a business and its cost and yung expenses na meron tayo. Kasama na rin dyan yung mga income and losses from sources other than its regular business activities such as yung mga extraordinary or one-time items na meron tayo. And yung mga income deductions like yung mga interest and taxes na meron tayo. So, para makuha natin yung ating operating profit margin, gagamit tayo ng formula na net sales minus cost of goods sold minus SG&A minus net sales. Kung saan yung ating SG&A, ibig sabihin siya yung ating selling, general, and administrative. Ayan yung ating formula para sa ating operating profit margin. Next naman, para sa ating net profit margin, kung saan kinukuha natin yung percentage no, ng ating revenue na natira sa atin pagkatapos nating matanggal lahat ng expenses na meron tayo. So, para sa ating formula, net profit margin is equivalent to net profits divided by net sales na meron tayo. Dito naman sa ating tax expense, total asset turnover ratio, and PP&E or tinatawag din nating property, plant, and equipment, no, turnover ratio, kung saan yung ating tax ratio is equivalent to tax expenses divided by EBT, no? Then the tax ratio is the efficiency ratio that demonstrates how well the company manage taxes, no? Kung nakakapagbayad ba tayo ng ating taxes. And the total asset turnover ratio is equivalent to net sales divided by average total sales na total average total assets na meron tayo, kung saan itong ating asset turnover ratio ay pwede rin natin gamitin as an indicator ng ating efficiency with which a company is using its asset, no, to generate revenue or napaparami ba yung ating mga expenses lang, no, at wala tayong napoproduce na revenue. So, para naman sa ating PP&E or property, plant, and equipment turnover ratio, meron tayong formula na net sales divided by average property, plant, and equipment. And of course, meron din tayong inventory turnover ratio wherein cost of goods sold divided by average inventory na meron tayo, no? Kung saan yung inventory turnover natin, minimeasure niya kung gaano tayo kagaling, no, as a company sa paggamit ng ating mga inventory. And para makuha naman kung ilang araw natin nauubos, no, yung ating inventory na yun or natitake natin yung or natiturn natin yung inventory natin, no, we have inventory days ratio na tinatawag kung saan days in the year divided by inventory turnover ratio. For example, inventory times 365 divided by cost of sales na meron tayo. Kung saan ini-indicate nito yung ating average time in days that a company takes to turn its inventory, including yung mga goods na meron tayo, no? Kung ilang araw yung work in progress para ma-turn natin yung ating inventory into sales. Next naman, para sa ating accounts receivable, gagamitin natin yung formula na receivable turnover ratio is equivalent to net credit sales divided by average accounts receivable. Kung saan itong ratio na to ay nakakapagbigay sa ating business, no, ng solid idea kung gaano tayo kagaling sa pagkolekta ng mga debts na meron tayo toward yung mga credit at yung mga nag-extend na with a lower number, showing higher efficiency. Ibig sabihin, mas mababa, mas maganda. And yung ating receivable days ratio naman is equivalent to days in the year divided by receivable turnover ratio. For example, itong ating average, yung account receivables times 365 is equivalent to divided by net credit sales na meron tayo. Para naman sa ating accounts payable, meron tayong formula na payable turnover ratio is equivalent to purchases divided by average accounts payable. Kung saan itong ating accounts payable turnover, pinapakita lang niya kung ilang beses no, or gaano kadalas yung ating company na nakakapagbayad ng ating mga accounts payable during a specific period of time. Payable days per ratio naman is equivalent to days in the year divided by payable turnover ratio, wherein accounts payable times 365 days in a year divided by purchases. So, ito naman ating payable days ratio, minimeasure niya yung ating average number of days na tinatagal para yung ating company ay makapagbayad sa ating mga suppliers. Next naman, para sa ating liquidity ratio, meron tayong current asset ratio wherein current asset ratio is equivalent to the current assets divided by the current liabilities na meron tayo. Ito ating current ratio, it measures the capability of a business to meet its short-term obligation that are due within a year. So, it indicates the financial health ng ating company and how it can maximize the liquidity of its current assets to settle yung mga debt and mga payables na meron tayo. For the cash flow ratio naman, we have operating cash flow divided by period and current liabilities, wherein the cash flow ratio compares yung ating cash generated from operation mula sa ating current liabilities, and it measures how many times no na mas mataas yung ating cash na generate from operating uh, rather than yung ating current liabilities na meron tayo. And para naman sa ating working capital ratio, meron tayong net working capital divided by total assets. And for our quick ratio or acid test ratio na tinatawag, no, meron tayong current assets minus inventory rather, sorry, divided by current liabilities. It is seen as more useful than the often used current ratio since the acid test excludes yung mga inventory, no, which can be hard to quickly liquidate. Siyempre, may ibang mga products na hindi agad-agad naman na bebenta or hindi madaling maliquidate. For our cash ratio naman, we have cash and cash equivalents plus marketable securities divided by current liabilities. Wherein yung ating cash ratio, it is more conservative compared dun sa ating quick ratio as it include only cash no and marketable securities. It exclude all other current assets na meron tayo. And for our debt to equity or debt to capital na meron tayo, yung solvency natin tinatawag, we have interest-bearing liabilities divided by total shareholders' equity. Kung saan if yung ating ratio is mas mataas sa 100%, more of an organization's funding comes from in the form of debt rather than equity. No? Debt to TNW is equivalent to interest-bearing liabilities divided by equity minus intangible assets, wherein a ratio of 1 would be reasonable. But if mas mataas na dun sa 1, then yung attention natin dapat mas nakafocus na dun sa ating kung paano yung company mas mamamanage natin yung mga financing activities na meron tayo. And meron naman tayong ating debt to EBITDA, wherein interest-bearing liabilities minus EBITDA na meron tayo. This ratio is used to assess yung amount ng leverage or relative to EBITDA. This ratio is commonly used by lenders no, sa mga nagpapautang. This can range by industry from 1 to 5 times. So, yung meaning ng ating EBITDA ay earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization na meron tayo. So, next naman para sa ating total liabilities to equity, we have total liabilities divided by equity, kung saan yung ratio ay pwede natin gamitin no, in conjunction with the debts to equity ratio para ma-determine yung impact ng ating operational liabilities sa pagpa-fund no, ng ating business. Total assets to equity naman is equivalent to total assets divided by equity or mas kilala rin bilang equity multiplier na tinatawag natin. If the ratio is low, the company may be under leverage. If the company number is high, then the organization, while taking advantage of that, may be over leveraged na. No? Ayan yung mga ating mga signs. Ayan, so tapos na tayo sa napakaraming formulas, no? Dito naman tayo sa analyzation of cash flow statement. So ano nga ba yung cash flow statement? The statement of cash flows is one of the primary financial statement na meron tayo na nabanggit ko nga kanina. The statement of cash flows contains three sections. Meron tayong cash flows from operating activities, meron din tayong investing activities, and financing activities. Each of these sections give us useful information about the entity's performance. So ito yung sinasabi ko kanina, statement of cash flows, no, meron tayong tatlong activities nga. First, meron tayong operating activities, which is the key figure to address is likely to be cash generated from operations, no? This shows how much cash the business can generate from its core activities. Before looking at one of items, such as yung mga assets purchases, sales, and raising money through debt or equity. Next naman, for our investing activities, this section of the statement of cash flows focuses on cash flows relating to non-current assets. And lastly, yung ating financing activities, the sources of financing any increase sorry, the sources of financing any increases in assets should also be considered. If this can be financed out of operations, no, then this is the best scenario as it shows the company is generating significant levels of surplus cash. So, okay daw to pag financing activities. Para naman dito sa ating debt financing, no, meron tayong mga options na available kapag titingin tayo sa mga debt financing. Meron tayong overdrafts and operating lines of credit, no? Sila yung mga short-term financing options. Mas ideal sila para sa pagmamanage ng ating mga working capital and cash flow fluctuations yung mga ating financing working capital na meron tayo. While dito naman sa ating term loans naman, sila yung mga bagay sa mga long-term investments like yung pagpa-purchase ng mga assets due to their fixed repayment structure na meron sila. So, dito naman tayo sa mga bonds, no? Bonds are a way of for a company or government to borrow money from investors. When they buy you a bond, you're basically lending money, no, for them to use. In return, they agree to pay you interest, tinatawag nating coupon, regularly and return your money after a certain period of time or yung tinatawag nating maturity na meron tayo. Ayan, so dito naman sa ating bonds, may iba't ibang uri ng mga bonds. Meron tayong fixed rate, floating rate, zero coupon, etc. Para sa ating fixed rate bonds, ito yung ating interest payments or yung coupon, no? Kung saan nananatili siyang kapareho pa rin for the whole bond period. Goods ito if gusto mo ng stable income. Kasi nga hindi nagbabago yung bond or yung coupon or yung interest payment niya. Next naman, para sa ating floating rate bond, nagbabago-bago naman dito yung mga ating interest base sa market rate, no, na meron tayo. So, yung payment ng ating interest or yung bond natin, tumataas, baba siya over the period of time. So, maganda to, dapat minomonitor nyo from time to time. Next naman is yung ating zero coupon bonds. Ito naman is walang nagaganap na pagbabayad ng interest. You buy the bond at a lower price and get the full amount at maturity, no? So, good ito pag long-term yung investors na meron tayo. Next naman is yung callable bonds na tinatawag natin kung saan yung company, babayaran nila tayo ng bond natin ng mas maaga if gugustuhin natin. This usually happens if interest rates drops and the company wants cheaper financing. Next is yung ating convertible bonds, which yung mga bonds, pwede natin siyang i-convert into company shares, no? Kapag gusto na natin. It's a bond plus stock option in one na. So, parang magkasama na siya. Kaya, convertible bonds. Next naman, and I think lastly, itong ating bonds with warrants, kung saan it comes with a separate option, no? Or warrant to buy company stock later. Warrants can be traded or exercised for shares if gugustuhin natin.
So, dito naman tayo sa type of loans. Mag-start tayo sa term loans, wherein this is a loan you pay back over time with regular payments. Meron siyang fixed end date and usually nagbabayad tayo ng mas maliit each month, no? It is used for big things like buy equipment, opening a new office, yung mga ganun. So, yun yung mga term loans na tinatawag natin. Next naman is itong revolving credit facilities. This is like a business credit card wherein we can borrow money when we need it and then pay it back after or borrow again after, no? It gives flexibility, especially para sa mga short-term needs lang. Next naman is yung ating standby facilities, which is, this is a backup loan, tinatawag nila. It is usually used only for emergencies lang. For example, nagkaroon tayo ng financing fails wherein pwede natin gamitin itong standby facilities na loan na meron tayo. If ever lang, just in case. Fourth is yung ating leasing. Leasing is when a company uses an asset, like yung mga machine or yung mga vehicle natin, but we doesn't own it, no? The asset still belongs to the person or the company. We are just leasing it or nagre-rent tayo, kumbaga. There are two main types of leases. First is yung ating capital or finance lease. This is also called as long-term lease, wherein the business gets most of the benefits of owning the asset. It's almost like buying it but paying it over time. So parang unti-unti yung pagbabayad natin. Next is yung ating operating lease. This is a short-term lease naman, no? The business just uses the asset for a while para tayong nagre-renta lang dito and it doesn't take. Now let's talk about equity financing, which is how company raise money by selling ownership to other. There are few key parts to understand. Now we have common shares, preferred shares, and return earnings. Let's start dito muna sa ating common shares. When you own common shares, you are part owner of the company. So may say ka, kumbaga. Owning common shares usually gives you first voting rights. You get to vote on company decisions like kung sino yung magiging board of directors, kung sino yung magiging yung mga nasa position. Next, we have equal share of profits. For example, no, after the company pays its debts or yung mga preferred shareholders natin, pag nabayaran na silang lahat, tayong mga common shareholders, paghahati-hatian natin kung magkano yung natira na dun sa pinaka-profit na meron tayo. And third, we have residual claim. If the company is sold or if ever na malugi yung company natin, common shareholders gets what's left after everyone else is paid. So, ayun, sa atin mapupunta yung matitira din sa company. Basically, common shareholders own the company and have the final say. And next is preferred shares, wherein preferred shares are different from common shares. They don't usually come along with voting rights, but they have priority over common shares when it comes to dividends and claims. Kagaya nga na nabanggit ko kanina, no? Sila yung unang binabayaran, tapos dulo na lang yung mga common shares. There are different types of preferred shares. First is the cumulative. If the company keeps paying your dividend 1 year, it add up it adds up and you get it later. So nag-a-add na lang siya pag hindi nakakabayad yung company. So parang naiipon siya in short. Next is, that's why it is called cumulative. Next is participating. You get fixed dividend plus a share in extra profit. So fixed siya. Next is redeemable. The company or shareholder can choose to buy back the shares on the set future date. And then next is convertible. You can convert those in common shares at a set rate and at a set time. Preferred shares are great if you want more stable income but less control. compare dun sa ating common shares na naunang topic. Next is retained earnings. Retained earnings are profits that the company keeps instead of paying them out as dividend. It is an important concept in accounting. The word retained capture the facts that because those earnings were not paid out to the shareholders as dividends, they were instead retained by the company. No, they these are used to grow the business, pay off debt, or invest in new projects. Think of retained earnings as the company's way of saying that we're saving this money to keep the company or to make the company stronger in the future. Yan, and I think this will be my last topic for tonight or for today. For example, itong ating Hunter Company income statement. So, ito po yung itsura ng ating income statement for the year ending December 31, 20 something. Of course, we have yung ating revenue, yung ating nakapaloob doon yung ating net sales, and yung expenses and losses, kung saan nakapaloob doon yung cost of goods sold, selling expenses, and others, no? And we have income tax, income before tax, and our net income. Typically, ang ating income statement ay binubuo ng apat na section. Section 1 yung ating sales revenue. Nakapaloob dun yung ating cost of goods sold, gross income profit. And then we have section B, yung ating selling or general administrative expenses or tinatawag nating SG&A. And then we have research and development, depreciation, amortization, and other expenses. And yung total nun is operating income or EBIT. Section C naman natin, we have interest expense, which is total capital is equivalent to total debt plus equity para makuha natin yung interest expense na meron tayo. And then we have income before tax or EBT na tinatawag natin. That's for finance. And the section A and the section B is for operations or sa sales naman sila. And then for the section D, we have tax and then net income, net profit loss or net profit or loss. This is naman for the tax. So that's the kumbaga parang composition ng ating income statement. And I think that will be my last slide for tonight. And I hope you learn a lot about my discussion about financial analysis. And if you have questions, you can browse our reference, the Infinity Ed Financial Modeling, Financial Analysis module. I already included the reference link dito sa ating slides. Once again, I am Shara Lucanlas, and thank you for listening to my discussion tonight.